Hello everybody, this is Mark, aka the Mayor. I want to talk a little bit about the Fires Creek Rim Trail. It's a 25.4 mile loop trail located in the Nantahala National Forest in Clay County, North Carolina. Well, let's talk a little bit about the trail itself. I consider this trail a primitive trail. It's anywhere from hard to strenuous to hike. And you really need to hike it during the winter months, late fall, winter, or early spring, due to the fact that water is hard to come by and of the overgrowth of the trail itself. There is an elevation gain of 3,200 feet. It's 2,000 at Leatherwood Falls at the starting point. When you reach Squiddy Bald, it's 5,200 feet. Some people hike this clockwise and others hike it counterclockwise. The times that I've hiked the trail, I've hiked it clockwise because of the elevation gain. Well, as we know, water is the most important factor in hiking. Each liter you carry weighs 2 pounds. So that being said, as I stated earlier, this is a loop trail and it goes along a ridge line, which means you're not going to cross water. You're going to have to go down for the water. As I go along in this video, I'll tell you the side trails where the water is located and the easier spots to get it at. I highly recommend going after it rains to assure less of a walk down to the water sources. I just want to mention something real quick here for a safety issue if you have to get off the trail. As I mentioned several times, this is a loop trail. I think there's like 8 side trails that run down into the water basin. All those trails end up at a forest road, and then they empty out in the main forest road 340. 340 is the only way in and out of Fires Creek. So keep that in mind if you have to get off trail. You want to hit 340 to get back to your car at the beginning of the falls. All right, everybody, let's get the hike going and let the good times roll. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out at the kiosk, and to the right of the kiosk there's a metal bridge that crosses the creek. You want to cross that bridge, and on your left you'll see a trail sign that says Trail 72. It's an asphalt trail, so it goes asphalt for like a couple hundred yards, and it switches to dirt like a normal hiking trail, which goes up over the top of the falls. When you get to the top of the falls, you see a brand new wooden bridge that the Forest Service put in. You want to cross that, and do not go left, go right. You go left, you're going to end up back where you started. So go right, and that S's up to a forest road, and then you'll see a forest gate on the right, and you'll see a trail sign 72 Rim Trail with a blue blaze dead ahead. So that's where your climb really starts. So you'll climb about a half a mile, and then you'll see an overlook. So bear to the right, and then you'll start your climb for the next mile. It does get steep at one point. There's like 150 yards of straight up. You'll know when you've arrived at the top because there's a little bit of a rock scramble. It flattens out and then S's over a creek, your first water source. I never get water there. I've never had to. Then you'll move along and you'll bump into a forest road. Cross the forest road and look for your trail sign 72 dead ahead. You'll start the next climb is Short Off. Short Off Bald is another, I would say, mile and a half further on up the trail. It's at marker 3.5. There are switchbacks along the way, but it can get bushy there, so pay attention to the blue blazes. As you get to Short Off, you'll see a double blaze. You want to go right and then a quick left, and it wraps around Short Off Bald. As you're going around the left of the Short Off Bald, you'll see a W for a water source. You look down, every time I've gone by there, there has been water. So then you continue up. The next stop is Peachtree Bald, which is at 4.2 miles to the top. That can get bushy, but you can get through. Just stay on the trail. And at the top of Peachtree, there is a couple tent pads. You could put a couple of tents there. I've never stayed there. I haven't had to. So then you're moving on. You're going to, next stop is Phillips Ridge Trail to your right. That's at 5.3 miles. That would be your first off if you need to get down for medical help or, you know, you've had enough. That trail goes 5 miles down and bumps in eventually to Forest Road 340, which is your out to the falls. So you'll continue on. You'll continue for probably another 3 miles and you're going to bump into what's the trail is called Rock House Creek Trail to your right. Continue a little further, maybe 25 yards, you'll see a big boulder. At that boulder to your right, there's 3 or 4 tent pads that you can have put your tent there. And Rock House does have water. Depending on how much it's rained and what time of year you're going, you could, I would say the max walk down would be 5 minutes. But it's a steep walk. If you get lucky, you can get it before then. If you're unlucky, you got to go further down. But that's a good place to camp. That's at about 8 miles. And at the boulder, you want to go left. The trail bears like a big left turn right there. And that's called Big Stamp. So you follow the trail on and your next stop would be Sassafras. One thing to keep in mind as you're heading towards Sassafras, about 2 miles from Big Stamp, the trail gets a little disorganized. Over the years, trees have fallen, blue laces have fallen off. And I have got lost there in the past. But at the end of this video, I'll post my email address. And I have a GPX file that I'll send you if you're interested, that has the whole loop, so it will help guide you through some of these areas. The other thing is, like you experienced hikers know, turn around. You may see a blue blaze going the other way, so you know you're still on trail. And also look for fallen trees that have fallen, and where the mountain high hikers have gone through there and cut the trees off the trail, so you'll know that that's the trail, the path. So then you'll continue on and you'll reach Sassafras at 13.1 miles. At this time, there's no trail marker there, but you can tell that there's a trail to the right. There's like pink ribbon there, some other markings, and if you go maybe 10 feet off the trail, there is a sign down there, but you can't see it from the rim trail. There is water. Again, you know, it's a walk down, and there is places you can camp down there, but you have to go down maybe 5 or more minutes. Your next trail crossing intersection will be Shinbone at 14.1 miles, basically a mile from Sassafras. At Shinbone, the times that I've been through there has been water, and it's like 50 feet off the trail. So you just go to the right, you walk down 50 feet, you'll cross a little creek, small little water crossing. I've gotten water there several times, but you may have to end up walking further down the creek depending on the weather. And that trail also empties out in the Forest Road 340, which in turn goes to Leatherwood Falls. The next trail junction is Chunky Gal Trail and the Rim Trail. It is roughly 1.5 miles from Shinbone. It's at mile marker 15.6. And if you go left to Chunky Gal, that trail, Chunky Gal Trail, runs for 26 miles, I believe, and bumps into the Appalachian Trail at some point. But if you go left to Chunky Gal for about 1/4 mile, you get a view of Tusquity from Tusquity Bald. You're at the highest point of the Rim Trail at 5,200 feet. But what you want to do is continue on the Rim Trail, bear to the right, and at 15.9 miles, you're going to run into Farball Trail. Farball Trail is on the right. It goes down to Forest Road 340, I believe about 1.8 miles. You want to continue on the Rim Trail until you get to a sign on the right. I guess it's 17.3 miles, and that is Trail 78 with a W. Now, I usually camp there to the left. There's a little open area back there. I've camped there twice, and there's a water source about 200 feet down on Trail 78. 78 is an old horse trail. It's overgrown. It's bushy. We're going to try to get up there to clear it. But if you zigzag down through there, every time I've camped there, I've had water about 200 feet down. After leaving Trail 78, you're approximately 8 miles from Leatherwood Falls to finish. You're going to encounter 3 more trail crossings, the first of which is Little's Fires Creek at 18.2 miles. It is a 3.5 mile trail that runs to Forest Road 340. I have no idea what kind of shape the trail is in. Moving along, the next stop is at 22.8. That's Bristol Trail. That trail runs 1 mile down to Bristol Horse Camp, which sits on Forest Road 340. The next stop will be at 23.2 Ompus Trail. That trail is a 1 mile trail that runs straight down to Forest Road 340. The last couple miles of the trail, you're going to encounter a reroute. It's pretty self-explanatory. It is marked well, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. And then when you get within about a mile, you're going to see a sign that's got an arrow. It says trail to the right. Just go to the right. If you go left, it goes to some old trail that I have no idea where that goes. So next stop will be Leatherwood Falls.